Hello, Susan, and thank you for a really inspiring and wonderful sketching to see exercise. So let's see what we have. We'll open up the first one, and we'll see that you were inspired by J. L. And here's a wonderful circular and flowing image that you did a sketch of. I think it's really powerful. I wanted to go to Meisel's biography. Just a really inspiring photographer that has amazing images and really always seems to, they seem so everyday, but they're always magical. Well, I don't know about that one, but they're often magical. And just good, really powerful street photography. So, very fun. So, really nice choice, and I think the image you chose of his, while not the classic of what he's thought about, really does have the circular shapes and the flow that inspired you. And then we have your images that you have, this image that you've sketched, which I think you've sketched quite nicely, and so taking that out to the Symphony Hall and the Geary composition, an amazing challenge in space, but really nicely seen here. And I think this one and this one are even stronger in the abstraction of the space. So we have flow, we have repeating lines, and a really nice movement from what you sketched to what you ended up photographing. So great job, and encourage you to keep on thinking about sketching and keep on working because you're doing a great job. Thanks so much. Well, thank you so much for your assignment. I think, Ada, that you really approached this in a great way, using something that inspired you, Gregory Heisler's work, and you can see some of his work, and you see some of his work here from his portraits of Arnold Newman. And I think this is it's an interesting thing here, and then we'll look here at the book, but then your sketch, and sort of finding that dark light that he really created, that drama, and then emulating it with your friend in this case. And I think playing with it with your husband, which is a different style of portrait, and yet still uses some of the same composition, some of the same focus, and some of the same simplicity of approach. And I think if we go directly to his site, just to give you an idea, this is, I think, the book that you were talking about. Just an amazing photographer that really has a real sense of simplicity of lighting and power in all of his images. Also notice how he uses color very subtly. So you're emulating a black and white photograph, but then you quickly go to color also. And I think while you minimize the color with your clothing here, it's an interesting thing. I think something with portraits can be helpful. I like what you said about being afraid of people taking too much of their time, try to be considerate. And sometimes sketching beforehand, planning beforehand, thinking about the shape of their face, the shape of the lighting, and giving them something that they can look at and say, look, this is a picture that I find inspiring. Let's try something like this. You can give them a place to start and use your time more efficiently. So really great comments and really great project, and thank you so much. Hello, Tricia, and thank you for your assignment. Thank you for your thoughtful commentary about working with low light and different lighting things. Sometimes this kind of assignment can really push some of our experiences and let us see some things we wouldn't have known. Here is your sketches, which I find really interesting, and the horizontal and diagonal lines that you found in the two images that you chose to talk about. And here we see some of that reproduced in your images in the landscape. Since we're here in Lightroom, and that's where I am, I thought I could also show you quickly something because I know you said you did some things in Lightroom to these. And I would look in this image for something that should be neutral. So I'm doing this by just feel for the imaging. You were there and I wasn't. So just a quick fine tuning so that you can see some of, just by changing the color, I think it really changed the image. I really like what you saw in all of these images, and I really like sort of the mix between the closed-in land and then the more open place with it, but again, keeping the horizontal and diagonal lines as an ongoing theme through all your pictures. Great job on this assignment, and thank you so much. Hi, Lynn, and thank you for your hard work. I really appreciate the thoughtful sketches and the way that you looked on both of these for some comparisons, and really they're quite effective. Let's look at your Flickr where we see these again. And Grant is the artist, an amazing artist. And here's your images from the pier. And here's your sketch. And interesting what you came up with to look at after looking at those images. And I think that I see more repeating shapes, so a little bit more of what happened. Maybe this one has a little bit more of what happened with the elephant. But there is a kind of centralness to both of these images that I think looks to the elephant. And so I thank you for your assignment. I think that it's very effective in terms of the images are quite good, and then the comparison between the images and the other images are quite interesting. Hello, Nadine, and thank you for your assignment and for your real exploration of what we were trying to do. I think you really did some interesting things by choosing one Imogen Cunningham, who is a very inspiring figure, and then by finding your own image that looks at both the curve and the lines and the leading lines. And so I find that really interesting. I just want to go quickly to here and talk a little bit about Imogen since you chose her, and remind people of her website's quite interesting. And her images were really breakthrough in her own time in terms of how she photographed and how she saw the world. So she's always a good inspiration. Hoping for the one of her portrait. I wouldn't want to leave until we got her portrait up. But doesn't look like it. Okay. Oh, there it is. Yes, there she is. Good. Going back to your images, I think you did, as you said, the job was to find the structure, not to create a beautiful drawing. And I think in both these images you did that. And here we see the leading lines and the way you've used the color. A lot of, in a larger scale, how this resembles the plant that you have of the Cunningham. Really nice coloration in this one. And a nice leading path. Might like this one a little bit lighter, at least on my screen. There seems to be a kind of darkness to it that we want to have a light at the end of the tunnel, perhaps. But really quite beautiful. And I guess that's a good. Oh, sorry. And then this one also that also has a leading line in the pathway. So really interesting assignment, really nicely done and nicely conceived. Thank you, Nadine.